You're listening to Market the Brew, a leading resource for promoting and marketing craft beer. Join in as we share with you, straight from the source, tools and strategies craft brewers from around the country are using right now to achieve significant success. When his childhood dream of becoming a professional baseball player was replaced with a degree from Marquette University, today's guest began to ask, what's next? That started the conversation with a childhood friend and eventually led them to Milwaukee's first craft brewery incubator. They spent time learning the fine art of brewing along with the business end of owning a brewery. The incubator has helped to launch several successful Milwaukee area craft breweries. This set them up for success as they began to build their small brewery into a Milwaukee destination. And today's guest has many great stories about the road he's taken to get where the business is today. Listen in to the steamy story of their brewery's first meltdown, literally, and how that event put the wheels in motion and eventually rolling them into their new location. What started out as a love of the game has become the cornerstone of the brewery and has opened some very interesting doors, from the indoor wiffle ball field to the Field of Dreams, and the upper mezzanine party space to baseball stitching on the building. You won't want to miss a minute of this podcast. But before we start today's podcast, just a quick reminder that the Market the Brew podcast is available at marketthebrew.com, on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio Podcasts, and other popular podcast sites. The video of these episodes will also be available on the Promote the Brew YouTube channel for you to watch or listen in. We hope that you will join us and share these episodes with your family and friends on social media. Now, find a comfortable place to sit, grab a glass of your favorite beer, kick back and relax while you listen in as Danielle and Travis visit with Tim Pauly, founder of Broken Bat Brewing Company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, as he shares information about himself, the brewery, the Field of Dreams, and the beer he developed for his alma mater, Marquette University. Cheers!
Good morning, Tim. Thanks for meeting with us this morning.
Thanks for being here. Happy Sunday.
All right. So could you introduce yourself and your brewery?
Sure. My name is Tim Pauly. I'm the owner and operator here. And you guys are at Broken Bat Brewing Company in Walker's Point. And just had our 6-year anniversary a couple weeks ago. So
nice.
We're very excited to have you guys here.
So how did you get into the brewing business?
So the brewing business, buddy of mine and I, we started this a bunch of years ago. And my baseball playing days ended a long time ago. But this felt like the way to kind of stay close to something I was very passionate about, baseball and beer, and just being in Milwaukee, it's a baseball town, and it was back when a lot of breweries were opening up, and we figured, we had to separate ourselves with a brand a little bit, and beer was the catalyst and sort of the way to get there. So yeah, we decided to start a tiny little brewery over in the 3rd Ward and prove a concept a little bit, and then move over here a couple years later, and here we are.
And it's so unique. I don't think there's any other breweries that have a baseball theme.
Not anywhere near here, yeah. So we think we have a little bubble around us. There's a couple across the country, and one up in Canada that we're aware of. But yeah, we kind of have the baseball market cornered here in the state of Wisconsin.
So hopefully this doesn't get you into trouble, but what is your favorite baseball team?
Oh, my favorite baseball team for sure is the Brewers.
Okay.
And diehard Brewers, yeah. So I'm born and raised in Milwaukee. I grew up right over by the Milwaukee County Zoo and went to grade school, high school, college here. So I'm a lifer. Milwaukee.
So this is home.
Yeah, this is home. This is home. But yeah, the Brewers are tried and true. I went through a lot of lean years with Brewers growing up, and
Yeah.
they're a very competitive team right now, so it's nice.
And just being here in Milwaukee with the Brewers, having a baseball-themed brewery, have you had any players stop by?
Oh yeah, we've had players. Not as many recently because a lot of them used to live actually in the 3rd Ward, so it was kind of easy to walk downstairs more or less to come to the brewery. But we have a lot of coaching staffs. A lot of media members, so anytime teams are coming in from Pittsburgh or St. Louis or
nice.
Twins or something like that, so I've gotten to actually know some of them. And then of course on the brewer side, Adam McKelvey is a Monk Club member. He's the writer for MLB.com.
Oh, cool.
Jeff Levering's a good buddy of mine. He's the color guy on the radio with Hugh, or play-by-play, and yeah, got to know a lot of the baseball people.
So this is the place to be if
Yeah.
you're looking to spot somebody.
You bet, man. You never know who will roll through here, but yeah, a lot of coaching staffs too, which is fun.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So you started at a smaller brewery,
Mhm.
and how long ago did you move here, where we are today?
Yeah, we're 3 years here.
Okay.
So truly, April 1st of 2020 was our first day of operation here. That operation looked like me sitting under a tent with double masks and gloves and sanitizer and selling 4-packs to go out of our garage door on the other side. But yeah, it was a wild start here before we were even allowed to have 25% capacity later in 2020.
You guys just updated like the upstairs too.
Yeah, we have an awesome event space up there. It can hold about 220 legally, and we have another bar upstairs and bathrooms, elevators, all that good stuff. But we were just getting so many requests for larger group events and being downtown that it was impossible with our first floor. We had the space and the time, so yeah, put a couple bucks up there, and it's a really awesome space.
And then how many barrels would you say you produce probably per year?
Last year we eclipsed 1,100, which was our highest that we've ever done, so a little over 1,100 barrels, and this year we're actually on track for about 1,600 barrels. So yeah, we're growing. We're on the slow growth train. I know there's some breweries that like to blow up and go crazy and quintuple production and all that stuff, but we've been on a very consistent path over the first 6 years of just grow every year and yeah, not go too crazy or too flat or anything like that. But yeah, we're on pace for a really nice number this year.
And then distribution-wise, you guys self-distribute or have partnered?
We have a couple partners, yeah. So we are with Wisconsin distributors here in the southeast part of the state. So they basically cover everything south of Sheboygan, almost all the way over to Mississippi, so like southern third of the state. We're growing our presence out in Madison in that area a little bit. And then we have another partner up in Green Bay that does we're trying, man. Yeah, we probably got about a third of the state, the footprint at least covered at some point. But yeah, there's still plenty of space to grow the brand a little bit.
So when I think of Broken Bat, and I see you guys on social media, you guys have something unique going on all the time. And I feel like the first one I want to talk about is that wiffle ball court.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a wiffle ball court in your brewery?
Yeah, we have a full-blown, I don't know if it's regular, I don't think there's regulation size wiffle ball field, but yeah, it's a full-blown AstroTurf with a home run wall, and we have a scoreboard out there. We have leagues that run off of it, so we actually have 40 teams signed up right now
Oh my gosh.
that play Monday through Thursday, and then we rent it out on weekends for bachelor parties, bachelorette parties. We've had a lot of corporate events out there where it's very funny to see the suits kind of dressed down a little bit, but yeah, we opened that in August of 20, and we were very careful with that through the COVID pandemic and stuff, but yeah, we haven't put any marketing towards the league in years, and we've had it full, and we've got a wait list, and
Wow.
yeah, it's been pretty cool. So it's something different. Like you said, it's not axe throwing or shuffleboard, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just different.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got a really nice little run with our indoor football field. Small,
Start with beer.
yeah, small
This
world.
might be a good spot for a wiffle ball.
So I used to go. My family and I used to go out to Spring Green, Wisconsin, which is way west. It's like an hour and a half west of Madison, and that was kind of our fall trip every year. We would always stop at a bar called Rookies, and it had a full-blown wiffle ball field in the back. Like I was outdoor, but it had lights, AstroTurf, scoreboard, and it was like floor to ceiling memorabilia inside. This guy must have known somebody because he had like McGuire and Griffey and Bonds autographs and all sorts of crazy stuff. So he knew somebody. But I had my bachelor party there years later, and I always thought to myself, if there's any way I can ever get close to this, I'm going to do it. And sure as shit, there was some room on the other side, and I measured out, I'm like 45 feet wide, 80 feet deep. We're putting a wiffle ball field in. So yeah, it was Rookies in Blackbird, Wisconsin. That was the inspiration behind our field.
I think the first time we noticed it, we didn't even know it was here, and we were walking, I think, the Summerfest, and we just heard all these men cheering and cracking bats. And
Yeah.
what is happening?
Yeah, we got
So-
a big garage door out there.
Yeah, so we like peeked in and it was open with like the net there. And
Mhm.
we just started cheering guys on, like their wiffle ball game. And
That's awesome.
Walked in and we're like,
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just super cool. And ever since then, I've always wanted to start like a league there, or like play in a league, or have a party there.
We'll have to get you guys out there.
Yeah, it just looks like a great time.
Yeah, I think it always catches people off guard at how unserious you can be out there. Like, you can't take it seriously.
right.
So everybody just always comes out laughing and having a good time. And of course, we've got beer back there. And, yeah, it's just not one of those things where, it's not a basketball where you throw an elbow at somebody or softball where it's like, don't take it too seriously. It's wiffle ball. It's a kid's game.
Yeah.
Um,
And it actually, it looks like it's kind of challenging too.
It is.
Some of those guys really swing and they miss. And
Yeah, there's a lot of egos that get checked right at the door for sure. But no, it's been a huge plus, and we've had people coming from all over, like the area, not even just Wisconsin, Milwaukee. People come up from Chicago to play,
Wow.
Minnesota to play. Groups that check out the bobblehead Hall of Fame across the street, that they'll make this a stop and make sure they're at the field and stuff like that.
that's
So, yeah, it's been a neat little dive in the rough to have for sure.
Well, speaking of bobbleheads, I mean, you guys have your own good little collection here as
Oh, yeah.
well.
Yeah, that's just years and years of going to Brewers games, and everybody would leave there to turn those in the aisles, and I'd grab a bunch of them. We got a lot of donations, so for better or for worse, there's a lot of Jeff Supons up here, a lot of Kyle Loaches, a lot of ones that was cleaning my attic out. Do you want them? And we just always say yes. We got some work on that. But I actually know Phil and his team across the street, and they've actually given us some really nice ones that we put behind plexiglass and stuff like that. So. If it looks really cool, it's probably not ours. It's probably on loan from the Bobblehead Hall of Fame, but yeah, we've got a lot of bobbleheads around here, and boxes more back in the office than we put up there.
So if you're listening and you want to clean your attic.
Yeah, let us know. We'll take it. Can't promise they'll get put up, but.
Wow, that's super cool. I just love how you tie everything about baseball into this brewery. You really do have everything here. Feels like you're at Miller Park or American Family Field.
It's Miller Park.
It's always getting
Until the day I die, it's Miller Park. But I appreciate that. We try not to shove baseball down people's throats, but there definitely is an aspect of the game somewhere in almost everything we do. So I appreciate it.
even the names of like your beers
Mhm.
like have
Yes.
some sort of.
There's a tie somewhere, I can tell you.
So another component of tying baseball to your brewery is your mug club.
Mhm.
Can you tell us what kind of mug people can expect?
Yeah, so we have 400 active Bun Club members, which is very cool. We have cut off baseball bats that are hollowed out in the barrel, and then you get a number basically burned into it with our logo. So if you guys came in and bought numbers 230 and 231, every time you came in, you guys would just show your little Mug Club card, and you go grab them off the shelf, and then you get a 12-ounce beer out of a bat mug. And yeah, you'd be the belle of the ball at the bar, because a lot of people are asking, how do we get into the Mug Club?
Yeah.
And we are just chock full at the moment. So yeah, it's pretty neat. And again, it's just baseball tie.
Yeah.
It's a legitimate bat that some company across the states said was defective to actually turn into a baseball bat. So the company buys them, chops them in half, powders them out, and then puts a little food safe lacquer in them, and
Oh my
you
gosh.
can drink some beer out. So.
Wow. And you can't buy those here, right? You have to be part of the mug club to
You
get
can buy
those?
ones without the number.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have a nice big logo on them, and we do sell those as souvenirs. But you got to be a part of the Mug Club. You got to have a number on there. You got to have
Okay.
your card, and you got to be able to prove who you are. Because we have a lot of people asking if they could just borrow one for the night. That's not how it works. But yeah, we do have a couple for sale with just the logo. But definitely the peak of everyone's interest is to be in the.
And did you notice the mug club growing after you started doing the bats for the mug?
We started with it.
Oh, you did?
So yeah, our first 100 was with the mugs. And it took a little while to sell them out when we started back in 2018. But then every spring after that, we were adding 100, and they were gone in like a day or two. We would kind of build up a little wait list. We'd have emails and everything. We'd send them out like middle of March and say, just so you know, April 1, they're coming. And then it just ding, 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 ding. Every number would get snatched up. So yeah, we didn't add 100 this year because we do have a couple people that have either moved or aren't from here that are not interested in using it anymore. So we're kind of doing these little buyback programs of almost like 25 at a time. If you want out, this is your chance. We'll give you your mug and shake hands and
Yeah.
part ways. But yeah, so far the buyback offers have been dwindling, which is a good thing. Which is we want people to be active in the club,
Yes.
and they certainly are these days. So.
And it's worth it here with your location
Mhm.
and how much happens around this area. You have Summerfest, you have brewer games, you have State Fair. I mean, Milwaukee's busy, especially in the
Milwaukee's
summer.
booming, yeah. We are super lucky, and we have so many good neighborhoods around here. The Walker's Point neighborhood in general is just doing as well as it has since we moved downtown. And Bayview is doing great, and there's construction all around us, which is always a good thing. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt getting around, but it just means that there's people here and there's economies to be had, and yeah, and especially in the summer. I always say Milwaukee's one of the most special places in the country in the summer because it's pretty awful in the dead of winter.
Yeah.
But that June to August in Milwaukee is a special time.
So you got a little bit of summer there. Wisconsin.
Yeah.
70 days that we get to
Yes.
enjoy. But we're almost there. I know it snowed like crazy yesterday, which was wild. But yeah, we're close. Not really.
So one of the cool things too, it's like you guys do a lot of cool things and it's always so unique. And one of the kind of recent things you did was you had your beer at the MLB Field of Dreams
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the listeners what that game was?
Yeah, so that was a wild story. If you don't mind me backing up just a little bit.
Go for it.
So we were there last year and the first year, which the first year was between the White Sox and Yankees, and last year was the Cubs and Reds. I got an email from a guy a few years back saying, nothing short of, hey, I have a bunch of corn from the Field of Dreams. I can't find a brewery in Iowa to brew it. Are you interested? I thought I was getting catfished. Hand to God, I responded like, LOL, sure. Give me a call. And he's like, hey, my name is Nick. I can be there tomorrow with the corn. I have pictures. I have certificates of authenticity. I can give you the farmer's number. I've been a photographer at the movie site for 30 years. So he was very real and very legitimate, and we had to move very quickly, but we were able to come up with the beer, and we used the corn in the beer.
Oh my gosh.
We got in touch with the people that were running the Fan Fest over in Iowa, and yeah, we had a tent, and we were serving it, and it was crazy. He got some of them into the stadium, and we got some pictures with coaches and stuff like that, but it is physically corn from that field that you've seen in the movies in left field. I'm going in May to pick up this year's batch of
Oh
corn.
my gosh.
Yeah, so I'm going to be able to meet the farmer for the first time. We're going to take a bunch of pictures, get some video, and
Wow.
but it's very real. It's not like one kernel of corn from the field. It is full blown hundreds of pounds of corn from the Field of Dreams, where James Earl Jones and Shoeless Joe and Kevin Costner were walking in and out of. So yeah, it was cool. It was really cool.
Being a baseball player, I feel like this is your dream as a baseball
It's
player
as close,
and a brewer.
yeah. It was the best of both worlds, yeah. Unfortunately, there was a small brewery in Dyersville, Iowa, is one of the smallest towns I've ever been to. That's where the site is. The movie site is in Dyersville, and there's a brewery there. And they got wind of it last year, of course, did their own version, and it's a little closer to home, so I give them a ton of credit for doing it. But Textile came out with a very similar corn lager. So we lost a little bit of we were the only ones doing it, right?
Yeah.
But we're going to keep doing it. We have a ton of connections with it. And yeah, it was as close to dream come true.
Yeah.
From the baseball and beer world, it just completely intersect. It was pretty wild. So.
And I think you had mentioned on Instagram that you were doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like every time I open Instagram, I was like, Travis, look at this. Look at this. He's on the field. Look at this beer.
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild. But again, I truly thought somebody was kind of pulling a mean prank of hey, I have something cool. Do you want to do it? And I say yes. And no,
Yeah.
I get regular or something. Rick Astley starts playing, but no, it was as real as it gets. And Nick, the guy who is the main marketer for the Field of Dreams site, him and I become really close. It's definitely a business relationship now. And,
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll be out there May 1st.
Wow.
With the farmer, catching some footage, and so you'll see more posts about it in about a week. So yeah, we're very excited.
One of these years, you're going to have to meet Kevin Costner.
I
You're in a movie
I
soon.
think that's next. Yeah, that's next on the list. Yeah, he's a few steps ahead of the people that I'm rubbing elbows with, but maybe one of these years.
And did you get to like participate in the game at all, or like throw out the first pitch or anything
No,
like that?
I'm still throwing out first pitches with like the Lakeshore Chinooks and stuff. That's not the people at first pitch. No, that thing was. It is, and I think they're being very cautious about safeguarding like who they let in and don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think as much as I would love to, I don't think I'll ever be close to walking out the field and cross or anything. But who knows? Maybe someday. But yeah, they got it pretty tightly to the wraps back there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And for this, you said this year you're doing it again?
Yep. So they're taking a year off from the game because
Okay.
they're building a bigger permanent stadium on the site. We're still gonna do it because it's cool,
Yeah.
and we just want to.
Will you do the same beer style and
Yeah.
same label?
We're gonna switch the label up a little bit. We did go through a big rebrand back in November. So a lot of our labels have a similar vibe, but we just cleaned up the look on the can and kind of what we're looking to go to market with. So we'll have a little shift in what it looks like, but it'll still be called Can of Corn. It'll still be a classic ale. And we found a recipe from the 20s and we tweaked a little bit.
Wow.
So we tried to really make it like there's no artificial anything. It's just hops, water, yeast, a little bit of grain, a little bit of corn. That's what you would have back in the Yankees back in the day, Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and all those guys. So.
And out of that whole experience, what would you say was like your highlight, or your takeaway from it?
I did see Kevin Costner walking around.
Oh.
So I was within like the
Okay.
and Dwyer Brown was the actor who played his dad in the movie. So I don't know if you've seen the imagery, but there's a very powerful scene at the end where Kevin Costner asks his dad, like, "Hey, Dad, you want to have a catch?" And then they pan out, and there's like a 10-mile line along the cars, and I did get to lock eyes with Dwyer. we didn't become fast friends or anything like that, but we locked eyes. So to be in that atmosphere was just wild, and it really is going back in time a little bit. You know, it's small town Midwest. We're very spoiled here in Milwaukee with, it's a big city, but it was a blast from the past for sure.
And then going off of that, kind of, but you guys have your beer as well at Miller Park and Family. We're always gonna call it Miller Park, no matter what.
Yeah, break it.
Adam Calvi, who I brought up earlier, he uses that term for kind of a little loop hit into the outfield, like you don't hit it hard and just kind of finds its way to the outfield. He called it a stoinker. So him and I have always joked about what a goofy word it is, and it's kind of part of their writers team. And I told him back in February, I was like, "Hey, we're coming out with a beer called stoinker," and I was like, "Do I have your, can I have your blessing?" He was like, "I can't believe this is real." Absolutely. So it's a dark German wheat beer. It's Dunkelweizen. Carl, our head brewer, is of German heritage, and he loves his German lagers and ales and wheats. So yeah, Stoinker is on tap over at AmFam, and we were told it's been doing very well. Or 24 tap lines over there, so they go across the state. So it'll be one of the 24 is pretty cool. I think our brain fits pretty well
Yes.
at anything. So yeah, we're happy to be over there.
We also sell beer now until the end of the 8th.
I
which
know.
Helps a
Yeah.
lot.
These new rules have got baseball nipping at soccer's ankles for like 2.5 hour games, which is kind of nice. I dig it.
Yeah.
But,
How do you feel about it?
yeah, I mean, it's good and bad. I think, not bad necessarily, it's just different. You know, like change is always uncomfortable in a way. But I think players are figuring it out, whether it's not so herky-jerky on some of the pitch clock stuff and pickoff moves. And I like it having young children. Like, they can go to a game and it's not the third inning and it's 2.5 hours later. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, it is kind of nice knowing that you're in for like 2.5 to 3 hours instead of, it could be 2 hours, it could be 5 hours.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they did home run. Just getting the time pretty close to what you're getting into.
I'm really glad to hear that your beer made it into the stadium.
Mhm.
So I feel like out of everybody here in Milwaukee, it made the most sense. Just
Right.
being a baseball themed brewery
We would agree.
made the most sense to kind of
Yeah.
get Broken Bat in there.
Yeah, we would agree. It took a couple years, and we had a couple opportunities earlier in our existence, but we were just too small. So at our first brewery, like we were offered a tap line, but we literally couldn't produce enough beer for what their requirement over the year was. So we had to say no, and then the pandemic hit, and they didn't have fans for 2020. They had very limited offering for 2021. We weren't comfortable with some of our offerings in 22. And we're finally here. So it's a very nice place to be in. Again, good beer, it's doing well, and the Brewers are playing really well. So that always helps. Yeah.
So,
hope that the injuries.
Yeah.
I know.
Right now, it's just like the bug for them
Just
right
got
now.
the Garrett Mitchell news.
I know.
So I'm pretty bummed. But yeah, the babies are playing well, which is good.
so you've had a lot of successful moments here at Broken Bat. I mean, you've poured at the Field of Dreams game. You've started a wiffle ball league inside. You've tied baseball into an entire business.
Mhm.
What would you consider to be your most successful moment here at Broken Bat?
Oh, that's a great question. Can I parse that into two separate lanes?
Absolutely.
So I think the most successful, or the most fulfilling part is the relationships that we've built. So when we started, I didn't have any employees for north of a year. So I bartended every hour, I was running the business, doing the marketing, doing the operations. And I have a ton of really awesome relationships. Honestly, Scott being one of them in the early days. But just people that have helped keep us going through a lot of the weirdness that everybody lived through the last couple of years. So I think just the relationships have been the most fulfilling. But from the business side, we were kind of talking about before we started, but the Marquette collaboration here that we did
Yes.
was the single coolest thing. And it's not even baseball related, of course. But I'm a Marquette grad. I'm a very proud Marquette grad. I love the basketball team. I go to a bunch of volleyball games, and I'm trying to just stay more connected with the school. But to collaborate with the university, not just like a group within the university, but it was Marquette. And to take a cohort of 4 students and some brewery friends around here, David over at Good City and Joe at Gathering Place, who are also Marquette alum, and to basically build out a program in a couple of months, and then rush the process through the winter and have beer ready to go on our homecoming day. Like, we don't have football at Marquette. So National Marquette Day, the basketball game, is truly our homecoming. And to have beer at Fiserv, to have it at the Mecca, at all the tap rooms, to have alumni flying over from all over the place, and it just came to fruition when it really could have not, with how short of a timeline we had. And working with college students, you just never know, but the 4, Gracie, Will, Jackson, and Connor were just, they blew us away. So it's very recent, maybe there's a little recency bias to it, but the fact that we're going to begin next year and hopefully becomes a thing and grow on it, that was the single coolest project that I've ever worked on.
And it was a huge
Say
hit.
it was a great
Yeah,
success.
I mean, you
it
guys-
caught us off guard, for sure. Yeah, we ended up brewing, I believe we ended up brewing 60 barrels of it total, which is 50 more than the original plan called for. We were planning on pretty much having it at the tap rooms only, and then it turned into, there's bars that support Marquette in the neighborhood, there's liquor stores, there's grocery stores, there's bottle shops, all those places were asking for it. We finally got Fiserv to kind of jump on board with it, so all of a sudden it was kind of this little niche idea that was like tap rooms only. It'll be kind of cool. It turned into citywide, and we're getting calls from Kroger and Meijer and all the liquor stores. Like, how do we get it? And we give them 1 case or 2 cases, and they're like, great, we'll take it. When can we get more?
Wow.
Gone in a
So
second.
and it was going, and they would announce it on social media. And it was like, oh, that's gone. And that's how it was here at the tap rooms too. So it was fruitful for Marquette. It was fruitful for the kids because they actually got paid through ventures, like Blue and Gold Ventures program.
Wow.
So they got paid for it. They were rock stars on campus, as you can imagine, for
Yeah.
a couple months.
Right.
Yeah, liquor stores, grocery store, everybody benefited, which is super rare in a project of that scale. Like, usually somebody kind of gets left behind, and
Yeah.
that didn't happen. So that was really freaking cool. And it was my own love.
Yeah, and I think we've mentioned it with a lot of breweries here in Milwaukee. but how supportive your businesses and breweries are of one another.
Totally.
It's so great to be from Milwaukee and see the collaboration and the support, and it's not even just the benefit for your business, it's the benefit for Marquette, it's the benefit for your community. And it's so impressive to see how you guys work together and give back to your own passions, your own colleges. And
no, I'm glad that you can see that, because it's certainly there. Like, it's not fake either. Like, there's very much a feeling of camaraderie. We all talk and text and come for happy hours and all that stuff all the time. We just had, Andy and Kevin from Third Space brought their team over here to play some wiffle ball. We've hosted Lakefront. We've done a bunch of trades with Mobcraft. John and Heidi down at New Barrel. Like, they're friends, and it's not this, we are competitive. We all want to do well, but we also notice that if Milwaukee as a whole is producing awesome beer with cool brands and we're all like relatively close, then we're going to get the Twin Cities, we're going to get Chicago, we're going to get, get people from Minnesota and Michigan and become a destination. And I think Milwaukee is very much, instead of formally being Miller, shadow, we're just kind of creating our own little beer city a couple miles away, and we got a good thing going. Yeah, so we see that. We all want to do well individually, but we also realize that there's a greater success if we're all kind of push each other and collaborating and being helpful. So.
And it is cool, like we spend a lot of time going to different breweries, and it's neat to walk in and you see like different brewery owners with all their gear on and just supporting and trying other beers from other people. And it's just really cool to see that.
Yeah, and we're all, like, thankfully, we, as a collective, I think this is as good of an overall product offering that we've had in Milwaukee in a long time. Back in 15 and 16, when a lot of us were opening up, there's a lot of trial and error. People were having hit and miss stuff. Like, some breweries were great right off the bat, but us included, we had a couple of misses here and there. But because of kind of the competitive nature, we've all sort of pushed ourselves to make sure that everything we're putting out into the market or in our tap rooms is really quality. Because sometimes you only get one shot. Like, you guys seem to be very forgiving customers and try again. But that's not the case with everyone. If you have a bad experience one time, there's so many other options that you just kind of say screw it and not go back. So we kind of have that in the back of our mind. But yeah, it's as cool and good and quality of a scene in Milwaukee as we've had since we started, which is a really neat thing. There's no two.
Like, that'd be so cool. And then you can meet another celebrity.
There you go. Or at least lock eyes or something.
Another moment.
Yeah, but no, that was fun.
Wow.
Awesome experience.
I always forget how many Marquette alum are playing for our pro sports teams.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and close to home, especially with Jay and Wes and Jimmy was in Chicago for a little bit and kicking our butts with the Heat.
Yeah, right.
Too soon.
No,
That game last night.
it's not great.
It was nice to see like Jay wanted to come here because he's from like he like went through school. So
And he
it's,
actually
like,
just did a 2-day thing with the team, which is really neat. Like, Shaka brought him in for practice and kind of like a mentorship day,
Oh,
which is
nice.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Aw.
Yeah.
Wow. We have a special city.
Good vibes around Marquette.
Right.
Yeah.
As you can tell.
Well, so you guys have something going on all the time, something unique going on all the time. Are there any events coming up, and with summer coming, is there anything you're really excited about?
Yeah, we're working on a couple things. The big push this summer for us is just getting out in the market as much as possible. So we're doing a lot of collaborative stuff with bars and restaurants in the area. We got some mini tap takeovers that we're starting to do closer to the stadium. So CJ is a good buddy over at Fourth Base, which is really neat. Kind of baseball themed bar. Part of Major League was filmed over there, so he's got the ties to baseball and all that stuff. Then they're hitting up a bunch of the brew fests. We're still working with the Lakeshore Chinooks up in Mequon, so we're going to collaborate with them again this year. Very excited about. And I do have one more huge collaboration that I can't quite sponge on, but we're at the finish line, and if it happens, I think everybody will be pretty surprised and pretty taken aback at the ties. Again, baseball, it'll be late summer.
Okay. So we'll look for an announcement.
Down in the Franklin area.
Okay, so now you're getting closer to a little. I think that explains it right there.
Yeah, we're trying to connect the dots,
Yeah.
but
That's awesome.
we're always trying. Again, there's so many opportunities for us to just tie Milwaukee and beer and baseball kind of in this big melting pot. And like I said, the playing days have been gone for a long time. So this is my way of staying close to a game that I love in a city that I'm from and love dearly. And again, craft beer is a hell of a conduit to get there.
Yeah. Well, we are impressed with everything you've done. A lot of people are impressed. We always see your mugs, those baseball mugs around.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
what
we're
you've
in
done.
a good place right now. And like I said, the Carl, our head brewer, is just he's so locked in right now. Our staff is incredible. We get a lot of praise for the smiles and just good attitude behind the bar. And my wife is running our event space upstairs, and I'm kind of running the show down here. And yeah, it's a really cool time to be a member of Broken Bat. So, and I appreciate you guys coming down and learning a little bit about it.
Thanks for having us.
Having some beers on a Sunday morning.
Well, if there's anything else that we forgot to mention, I think we covered all of your big moments.
You just covered a lot of ground. So no, we're good. Yeah, the big moments are awesome. We're just growing the brand. Again, we're over at AmFam. We're with the Northwoods League, which is awesome. The Trojans are part of the league. We serve beer at all the stadiums across the state there. Yeah, we're rocking. We'll have Bucks, Brewers, Marquette, Packers, Badgers on the TV. We'll probably catch some bleeding blowfish on speakers and drink some good beer with good people. So that's
Awesome.
Broken Bat in a nutshell.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you,
We
guys.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We've reached the end of this episode, but there's plenty more to keep you busy. For online source materials and proven case studies delivered right to your inbox, sign up for our mailing list by visiting marketthebrew.com. We'll see you next time on Market the Brew.